Hey there! Welcome to Product Marketing Maestros, Tales from the Front Lines. I'm your host, Nitin Karthik. As the author of the Amazon bestseller Product Marketing Wisdom, I've always found that real-world case studies are the true litmus test for the effectiveness of any product marketing strategy. And that is why in this show we dive into the minds of industry titans as well as rising stars, unpacking their expertise in action-packed episodes that showcase the power of product marketing through real-world case studies. And today, my friends, we are joined by product marketing maestro Simon Gergaud. Simon is a seasoned product marketer with a passion for innovation, strategy, and customer insights. As a product marketing manager at HelloAsso, he has played a pivotal role in structuring the function, as well as leading competitive intelligence, refining positioning and messaging, and driving product adoption. His expertise spans go-to-market strategy, UX writing, and enablement. Previously, he held marketing and category management roles at Masterlock, Franprix, and PepsiCo. Fluent in 4 languages, Simon combines analytical acumen with strong communication skills to drive business impact. He's also an ambassador for the Product Marketing Alliance, fostering collaboration and knowledge sharing in the industry. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Simon Gergaud. Simon, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show, Nitin. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Absolutely fabulous. Wonderful, Simon. Thank you. And again, really excited to have you. So, Simon, today we will give the audience a situation from your experience. And Simon, we will use the ABC framework. So we'll talk about the antecedents, what were the prior challenges. We'll talk about the behaviors, what were some of the actions that you took. And we'll talk about the conclusion, how things played out. So, Simon, pick a situation from your experience and tell us what were the antecedents, what were the prior challenges.
Yes, so yeah, we talk about adoption. Often when we think about adoption, we jump straight to go-to-market strategies and how to drive the usage after the product is built. But what I want to focus on today is really how we, as product marketing managers, we can bring this adoption thinking really much earlier. I mean, right into the product discovery and like even before designers start working on the UI prototypes. So for me in my company, it's really about embedding that mindset into product teams early on, so adoption becomes a shared goal across the product, the marketing, sales, and customer support. Because I've seen like in many other companies, and my company, the default mindset was that adoption was something to tackle after launch. So it was mostly seen as a marketing or sales responsibility, but really not a product concern. So as a result, we had a fragmented approach. Product teams focused really on building features that met the functional specifications, while marketing on the other side tried to figure out how to talk about them, but afterwards, and often without really a real positioning and without full visibility into the product context. So this gap, it made it really harder for both teams to tell a consistent story, and we often describe our features with really internal technical terms, rather than we often describe features with internal technical terms rather than clear benefits for our users, and it showed in the adoption metrics that we could see after launch. So there was really this implicit belief that driving adoption starts after delivery, but truth is adoption is shaped from the very beginning through the way we define problems, we name the features, we design the products, and we communicate this value. So when those elements aren't aligned early, we end up with technically solid features, but that are often hard to explain, hard to differentiate, and ultimately difficult to understand. And for our users, they were just underused, and that was my challenge to focus on when I arrived in HelloAsso.
Excellent. Wow. I love that, Simon, because I think a lot of our audience members may actually be struggling with some of these challenges that you mentioned. So I love that. So thank you. So Simon, now that we have the antecedents, the prior challenges, now let's talk about the behaviors. What were some of the actions that you took based on these challenges?
Yeah, exactly. So the actions. So when I joined HelloAsso, in the product team, one of my first priorities was really to integrate deeply into the product team's workflow. So I embedded myself in their processes, and especially during this product discovery, because we had a process for product discovery, and one part of the process really caught my attention, because after defining the target KPIs and the core use case, product managers were expected to summarize the value proposition, so which was a great effort to do, but in practice, this step was sometimes just skipped are often rushed and done solo without really much structure or marketing input. So basically it was just a line on the document, and it was really not useful. So I decided to take ownership of that step, and especially for the high impact launches, and I turned it into a more strategic and collaborative exercise to improve its impact. So here's an approach you can reproduce for every feature. So the first step is I started by running So the first step was that I started by running internal benchmark to understand how we already talk to our users. Looking at the website copies, onboarding flows, and the Help Center content, for example. Then I studied an external benchmark, so looking at our competitors, how they position similar features or solution, how do they talk about it. And finally, I looked into our own user language, so looking at users talking about the product, so in NPS verbatim or support tickets, to directly understand how they describe themselves, the product, and what they were trying to solve. And from all this inspiration, final step was to write something really well-known, which is a mock press release, well-known exercise inspired by Amazon. So the goal is to write a complete press release, just as if you were launching tomorrow, but you're really early in the process. So it's really great to help frame the feature, not just in terms of functionality, but really in terms of user benefits, and to think directly how you will talk precisely to our users using user words and not just internal technical terms. So from all these activities, we can say, I wrote the value proposition, positioning, and early messaging with the product manager. So we wrote it, the two of us together. Once we had the draft, we shared it with the marketing team, the sales team, the customer support team to gather that feedback, align together, and validate everything together in a dedicated session where we regroup and everyone could speak about it, and we ensured all together that we had a final version. So this narrative helps product design teams and the UI and product manager for the functional specification, and get all non-product teams aligned and aware way before the launch.
Excellent. Wonderful, wonderful, excellent. I love that, right? So we had the antecedents, the challenges, and now that guided your behaviors. Wonderful. Thank you, Simon, for taking us through that. Now, Simon, bring it home, right? So tell us about the conclusion, right? How did the situation play out for you?
Yeah, exactly. So as a conclusion, the result in my company was that this process really created value, both for users externally, but mainly internally also for organizations and the different teams. So for our users, it means that now our features are not only functionally described, but they are also easier to understand, from the UI itself to the way we talk about it. And if it's easier to understand, the adoption is better and they get better value from it. So we have really shaped this communication around real user needs and the language from day one. So it was a great improvement. And for our organization, the main benefit is alignment. I really think it's a duty for product marketing managers to get this alignment between the teams, and this process really brings this alignment between product, marketing, sales, customer support. And we were all really happy to work together on the narrative really early in the process. And now our launches are smoother, our messaging is stronger, and we are more coherent across all our touch points in our organization. And also it helps our product managers. They get a clear structure from this part of the process that's not always in their comfort zone. So it's really a collaborative and repeatable method. And you can decide, depending on your organization, if you want the PM to be responsible or the PMM to be lead in this step, or both to work together. And this is really something that can be adaptable in any organization. And so for me, as a conclusion, the both elements are really to bring this adoption thinking into the discovery process and to make this alignment intentional with all the teams involved in the launch. So for our teams at HelloAsso, it was really a success, and I think it can help other teams also.
Excellent. Beautiful. So thank you, Simon. Folks, there you have it. For more insights, you can check out my Amazon bestseller, Product Marketing Wisdom, at productmarketingwisdom.com. And see you next time on Product Marketing Maestros.